welcome to another piano tutorial. Today we're taking a look at the song Life in the Key of D by William McDowell. Now there's a lot to go over in this song just because there's a lot of crazy rhythms. But as far as like chords and voicings and stuff, this song is actually pretty simple. So the song starts out on a D. And they're just kind of building on this, I think, for about 4 measures. So really, when you watched me play through the song, I just held it out, didn't really do much more than that. But you'll hear the drummer building on it. And the way I played the D is 1 and 5 in my left hand, so that's D and A. And then right hand is a second inversion, so it's A, D, F sharp. All right, and then comes the fun part, the intro. And if you're looking at the chord chart, it's E minor, F sharp minor, G, G, A, B minor. So this is the same progression that they use for the verses. So it's a polyrhythm. I think it's like a 3-4 against 4-4. 3 against 4. But anyway, so we're actually playing the polyrhythm between both hands. So I'll start with right hand because it's the easiest. The right hand is going to be playing this on every downbeat, every quarter note. So that's kind of keeping the tempo, and it's really good that they have this part because it kind of gives us context to understand what's going on in the left hand as far as rhythm is concerned. But right hand notes are A, D, and octave A. All right, and then left hand is going to do this against that. All right, so again, A, D, A, left hand is going to be, so this is a G chord inverted with the D on bottom. So D, G, A, and if you're wondering how this makes sense with what's written on the chord chart, if I take this and I put a E in the bass, this becomes an E minor 7, and because our bass player is playing the E, we don't need it in the piano part. So anyway, it's D, G, A. Next chord is E, A, and a C sharp. Next chord is F sharp, B, D. Okay, and then the second half of this, where it's the chord chart says G, A, B minor, we're gonna do this chord, which makes it a G major 7. So we'll do this chord again, then down back to our A, which is E, A, C sharp, and back up to this, because with this plus, that makes it a B minor chord. All right. Hope that makes sense as far as the voicings are concerned. They're just inverted versions of what's written. Again, we're not so concerned about playing the bass notes or the root notes on bottom because we have a bass player that will take care of it for us. So just to show you what the part looks like a little bit slower, so I'll go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. on that rhythm. It's weird if you've never had to play any kind of polyrhythm or something where your limbs are independent. Drummers talk about limb independence a lot. And polyrhythms are something that drummers love to do because it really exercises that. You don't really hear about it in keyboards, but it's super important, especially in instances like this where you're going to need to be able to do that. And kind of a good exercise for this is before you even touch the piano, try to get this down. So I'm just patting on my legs here. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So if you can get that. If you can get that down just by patting, it's easier to transfer that to. All right, so I just want to throw that out there. If you can get that rhythm down just by patting on your legs or patting on the couch or something before you actually approach the piano, it's going to be a whole lot easier because then all you have to do, you got the rhythm down, all you have to do is figure out where your fingers go as far as notes, and that's easy. But if you're trying to figure out both at the same time, man, you're just going to get discouraged. So I want to take a little bit of extra time to explain that because that part comes up quite a bit, and it's really important that the keyboard player nails the rhythm. So then, if we go to verse 1 and verse 2, both of them are played exactly the same, and all it is that intro progression. Again, it's that weird rhythm that we're having to split up here, but on the verses we get to play it with the bass player. So just that part's pretty self-explanatory. Listen to the bass player for rhythm, and then we get to the chorus. Chorus is pretty easy. A over C sharp, D, G, and then they go to A, B minor, E minor. I'll take a couple of minutes just to explain this really quick. So if we look at A over C sharp, it's basically an A chord with the third in the bass, so it's an inverted A chord. Then it goes to D, then to G. What I want you to notice about this progression is the second part, second line of the chorus, they play A, now with the bass, the A in the bass, and they go B minor, E minor. So they're almost playing the same thing twice. They've just changed what the bass note is. Because if you play a D here, if I play, this is my D, and then I'm playing a D in the bass, it's just a straight D major chord. But if I change the bass note to a B, that makes it a B minor. My right hand didn't change any. Same thing if I do a G. It's just a G major chord, but once this bass note changes to E, now it's a E minor 7. All right, so essentially, they're just using chords that are interchangeable rather than repeating the same thing twice. They just change out the chords for ones that are just interchangeable with the major chords. If that makes sense. Sorry, I'm not trying to confuse anybody. All right, so then after we play those two chord progressions, they go back into what the verse sounds like. All right, and the thing I want to point out is when we end on the B minor, they're only hitting B minor 3 times. So, right? And they're kind of accenting it harder than the rest of the chords, because that'll take us back into. All right, so the song pretty much is going verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, intro, verse, chorus, intro, until we get to verse 3. Now, verse 3 is a little bit different. It's actually easier. Instead of playing that weird rhythm, they're just holding the chords out long. Same changes. Sorry. So that last chord, I don't have it written in here, but the band is actually playing a B minor 9. So that looks, excuse me, that looks like this: B in the bass, and then our right hand is going to go A, C sharp, D, G. I'm sorry, F sharp. All right, and that chord is just, it's accented right before they go back into the chorus. All right, so that's verse 3. Now let's take a look at the bridge. Now the bridge, the progression is G, A, B minor, G, A, B minor, G, A, B minor, and then the last line has, it changes it up just for the last line, A over C sharp to D, and they go to this really nice C over E to D over F sharp, which brings us back to G. I love how that C over E fits in there. But anyway, that's the chord changes. The piano player is actually doing this little melodic thing, and listening to the track, their piano player is phenomenal and adding a lot of like fills and just doing some beautiful stuff. I really simplified it, kind of dumbed it down to my level, just so I can play the melodic part plus the supporting chords. So what I do in my left hand is basically doing the 1 and 5 of each chord. Okay, so G and D, A and E, B and F sharp. And then for these parts where, you know, I do C sharp and A to D and A. So that's the A over C sharp and D. Looks like this. C sharp and A in my thumb, D and A. And then for the C over E, I do E in the bottom, C in my thumb. Then move that whole thing up a whole step to get D over F sharp. That takes me back to G. Okay, I hope the left hand makes sense. Right hand is going to do this melody. All right, you can watch that slow if you need to. I'll call out the notes really quick. D, C sharp, B, A. All right, so after A, we go to F sharp. F sharp, E, F sharp, D. And it just repeats that melody over and over. All right, and so just to show you what it looks like all together. So. Okay, and then I am adding a little bit more in my right hand just to fill out some of these chords. I like to put the D in there when I end with that F sharp. And then it makes it easier to hit it and then jump back up to the top of the melody. Sorry. Alright, and then for this part, I'd like to go. So now what I'm making is an A2 over C sharp with the melody note on top. So it looks like that. Thumb is on B, and then index finger on E. So I get to switch from, and again, my melody note's on top here, F sharp. All right, and then when we go, so when I hit G for the melody, I'm playing a D down here, and that's over the C over E. So what that's basically doing, if I were to take this an octave up, it's giving me a C2 over E. And then I just finish out the melody. So what it looks like all together. All right, so just practice that over and over. Try to get both left and right hand to a place where, man, it just feels second nature to you. Because they're going to play that throughout the bridge. Then there's a little interlude that they do the same thing. And then second to last chorus, when they have like a chorus breakdown, they're actually playing that during the chorus. So they play that through the chorus, and then when the band comes back into the chorus, they'll go back to. All right, so just kind of wanted to talk through that. So this little thing. That whole piece is so important to know because once we get to the bridge, it carries pretty much most of the song. All right, so now we're to the ending. So the ending, there's like a synth and an electric guitar melody that's going on. And I just wrote down these chords to kind of support what's going on there. So the first one is G major 9. The way I play G major 9 is 1 and 5 in my left hand. So G and D. And my right hand is A, D, F sharp. All right. So here's the 9. That's the 9 of G. Here's the 5. And then here's the major 7. So it goes G, A2, E over G. So my E is B, E, F sharp, and then I do a E in my bass and G sharp on bottom to F sharp minor, then to D over F sharp, back to G major 9, to E major, and they end on an A. Alright, so okay, so just listen to the outro to understand kind of what the rhythm of the changes is, because it is a little bit goofy. I think at one point they actually turned the beat around. So just listen to that, learn the guitar melody in your head, so that'll kind of be a good indicator of when you need to change chords. But that's it for this song. I hope you have fun with it. Until next time, keep practicing, and we'll see you again. Bye.